Hi guys, welcome to Daddy Die's Crafty Corner. Today I'm going to be sharing with you a way to make a shadow box card, right? A shadow box card that is an A2 or A2, 4¼ by 5½ inch card when it's folded and will fit in an envelope. So one of the frustrations I've had with dies that you purchase on the market to do this is it makes this short card. It makes a card, it makes this size, this width of a card, but about that short. So I didn't want that. When you put it in an envelope, you've got this much space still left over in your envelope. I wanted to come up with a way that you could incorporate the same principle and make it fit in an envelope. So when you fold it down, it's going to fit into an A2 size envelope. That's A2 size. Same thing with this one. So this one is more upward. This one is a little more square, not quite a square, but a little more square, but same principle. Fits into an A2 size card perfectly, right? So I came up with a way to do this actually a while ago, and I made one video on it, but I don't think it was probably the best video. I'm not sure this one will be either, but I'm revisiting this because I'm making some of these type cards for Christmas this year, and this is a couple of the styles that I'll be doing. So I wanted to go ahead and show you. I was inspired completely and totally to do this by that piece of paper inside the Lawn Fawn pad that I just received. Remember the Lawn Fawn Christmas paper? Oh, sorry guys, I touched a toy. Imagine that. That was in here, this piece right here. I already had this. I already had like 4 pieces of this paper, plus the few that are in this pad, and I bought 2 of the pads. So I was totally inspired completely by that piece of pattern paper. Right there. That's what inspired this whole thing. I thought, how beautiful would that look on a white card with snowflakes around it? Just gorgeous, right? It's beautiful. I'm not going to be decorating the outside of these boxes at all, except for this one. This one has a seam in it right here. I'm going to be putting a piece of white cardstock over that, and that's where my note will be. There'll be a white cardstock on the back of here, and that's where my note will be as well. But they're going to be kept completely white except for whatever might go on the inside. Okay? So now what do you need to make this project? As you can see, super cute, right? Both angles, right? Super cute. All right. What all you're going to need to make both of these boxes is one piece of 8½, what is it, 8½ by 11? Girls, I don't know. Sometimes my brain goes on vacation. I think it's 8½ by 11, right? And we're going to cut it down the long way. So on the 11-inch side, we're going to cut it at 4¼ We're going to cut it at 4¼ just like you would for a top folding A2 size card. So we're going to go to 4¼ and we're going to cut it in half. Okay, this is going to make one box. This is going to make the other box. Not trimming anything off. It's just going to be those 2 pieces. But then you're also going to need a piece, an extra piece, probably I'd say 3/4 of another one of these, to make your little hills that you're going to want to put inside your box. So I made 1, 2, oh yeah, but don't use the 4½. Cut it on the other side, cut it on the 5½. So for your second piece of card, because you're going to want it to be a little bit longer than 4¼ so I cut it on the 5½ is what I did. Or you could just do it this way, right? You're going to be cutting out some hills, right? You can do that with your dies that you already have, or you can do that with scrap pieces of paper, or you can just use a pair of scissors and make a line, right? It's that easy. So I did a couple and stitched. I did some without. You can see just your standard little hill shapes, right? But if you're going to do it for the cards, for the measurements of this card, cut this piece of paper at the opposite way. So cut it down the middle at the 8-inch mark, right? Don't do it this way. Don't do it for the top folding. Do it for the other way. That way you'll have plenty of room. You're going to need more room than the 4½ or 4¼ okay? For this card. This card will be fine. This card we're going to use exactly, and we're just going to score. It's going to be fine. But this one, not so much. All right, got it? So that's all you're going to need. You're going, and I've already done this part. We'll score it later. All right, you're going to need a scoreboard. You might need some of those little dies. We all have these. They're super small. They're not very expensive. I know that a lot of the companies have them where they don't have the stitching and they're not very expensive. I like Mama Elephant for that as well. And you're going to need a scoreboard. Now, the only scoreboard that I had that would take me all the way across is my Mambo Martha Stewart one. So that's the one we're going to be using today. And you're going to need something to score with, whether you have a scoring pencil or a scoring tool like this one. This one is the Teflon one that I rave about. They will last you a lifetime. They are super smooth. They're not going to tear your cardstock. They're not going to leave anything shiny on it. I really, really like this tool. You guys know that. But this comes with one, comes with the tool. So if you wanted to use that one, you could. I don't even know where mine's at, but you know, I haven't used that tool in forever. Okay, so for the first card that we're going to be making, let's jump right to it. We're going to start off making this one. Now this one is not going to give us this cut, and that's the brilliance behind this. I'm going to show you. When you actually make it, you get to pick what die you want to have the front. What kind of an opening? Do you want a circle? Do you want a square? Do you want a rectangle? What kind of opening do you want in the front of your card? It's completely up to you when you make your own card. You can make whatever picture window you want. So for this one, I've added a little detail. I've added a little scallop around it just for a little extra detail. I thought that would be super sweet with the snowflakes on it. And for this one, I just used a stitched oval. You guys know I love my ovals, so I used a stitched oval for this one because I wanted it to be more of the scene this way. This one's going to have something tall going up in it, so I wanted it to be lengthwise. So it's just up, whichever one you want to make. This one, of course, is fatter. This one's thinner, but they're the same beautiful card. We're going to do this one first. Okay, so for this card, you're going to need that one piece of paper, which is cut to the top folding, right? And you can, I'm going to give you in the description below, I'm going to give you the layering panel size if you want that as well. So if you wanted to put layers on your card here or on the back or on the sides, on the inside or the back, I'll have all that listed below as well as all the measurements. I'm going to write all that out for you guys. All right. Here's a diagram of the measurements that I'm going to be using. I thought this would help you to get a visual on this Martha Stewart scoreboard. It's a little hard to see. I will have the method written down below as well. So this is the 11-inch side, okay? You're going to just score going all the way across, and I'm going to show you how easy this is. So on this piece of paper, we're going to go from the left to the right. We're going to score at 3 1/4 inches for our first score. Okay, the second score we're going to do 5 3/8. So if you're not savvy with your board, there are smaller and larger measurements. It just so happens this one goes in 8, so you're going to go 5, what did I say, 3/8? You're going to go 5, 1, 2, 3. And on that third line, you're going to score. That is 3/8. Okay, the next one's going to be 8 5/8. So 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that right? 5/8. Let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, little green line. Okay, I'm going to go over it again. And then the last one, we're going to make sure it's always up here in the quarter, is going to be at 10 6/8. All right, so 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right there. And I went off on that one. Arthritis, guys, it's a killer. Okay, so I know you can't really see that. I'm going to see if I can get it to where you can see it. Can you see the score lines? Right there. And on this last little one, we're going to take a pair of scissors and we're going to snip it just a little bit. All right, so we're going to go just like this. Oh God. Yeah, and today's the day I choose to do just like that. Today's the day I choose to do this, and my arthritis is so bad, just like that. And that's going to give us a little part showing that that's where we're going to actually tape it down for our box, okay? So see how easy that was, guys? And I'm going to have the measurements below for that, all right? So now all we've got to do is put it together and cut something out. So on this one, we're going to go ahead and score it. So for the scoring, I'm just going to take this tool and just score all my lines. And I think I just scored that one, the other one backwards, but that's okay. All right, so it's going to go, let's score it this way. Okay, just like that. All right, so it's going to go just like that, and your seam is going to be in the back, but on this one you won't see the seam, right? Because it's going to go right there. So the front of your card is going to go right here, okay? So see where that is? When you put it together, I mean, you could have either side be the front, that's up to you. But this side right here is going to be your front and your back. The smaller one are your sides, all right? So then you can go and choose what kind of opening do you want. Hold on one second, let me grab some dies. Okay, so then you get to decide what kind of ovals, and you want to do that before you glue this part down. You can glue it or tape it, right? So then you're going to decide what exactly size do you want for your front of your card, right? So I think you could use a rectangle. I used a rectangle on mine, and I used a rather large rectangle because I wanted a lot of my scene to show. You don't have to go that large, and I'll show you an example. So what about this one? This one is the size that I use. So I'm using the Hero Arts. Can you see that piece of paper in there? Let's see. The Hero Arts, I love these dies. If you don't want to use stitching, the Hero Arts Infinity dies, right? So I use the for mine 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th one in, but let's go a little bit smaller. Okay, so maybe we want to go there. That way you've got a bigger frame around it. That would be perfect. So you would cut it out right here, and then you would glue it together. I'm not going to, I don't know whether I want to do that or not yet. All right, or you could decide maybe you just want a little circle in there. So go to your circle dies, pick one. Mine's a hot mess because the children love to play in grandma's dies. So pick a circle, right? You could have a little circle in the middle. That's super pretty. Let's leave those aside because we'll pick one. Or you could use an oval. And I have so many ovals. You guys know ovals are my favorite. Or you could put an oval in there. Super cute. It just depends on how much of the scene you want showing in your card, right? If you just want a little bit of the scene showing, you can use a smaller die for your opening. If you want more of the scene, right? And that whatever size you make this part of your card, you're going to have to adjust your hill size. You're going to have to make them. So I'm going to be giving you the measurements for the width, but the height is going to be completely up to you because, for instance, if you use this one, right, that would be okay with the oval. But if you use the circle, you would get hardly any hill showing through, right? So you would want to make this wider to come up further in your circle. Make sense? So the width part is going to be completely up to you. This part of the measurements is super easy, right? All right. So I just want to show you what it looks like. So let's pick a die. And then we'll come back to the scoreboard. Well, no, let's go ahead and score the second one. All right, let's score the second one, then we'll bring out the big shot. All right, so the second one is this one. Let me scooch these dies out of the way now. Take a drink of my coffee. Okay. All right, so for this one, we're going to do the same thing. Same, we're going to use the other half of that piece of cardstock, just like that. And the measurements for that one are a little different, because for this one we're going to have this opening be larger and this opening be smaller. Now, I didn't do the math. You could actually put this seam on the side. You could do the measurements to put it on the side. And if I remember, I'll give you the measurements for that one as well. I decided, since I knew I was going to be covering up the front and the back, I just left the seam on the back, because I figure almost everyone is going to write a note. So to write a note, I'm just going to add a pretty little detailed white card base, and I'll give you the layering piece for that as well. Or I'm actually going to make mine the same size as it. I'm not even going to do a layering piece, but I'll give you the measurements for that, because you're going to want to write a note on these cards, right? So when you close it up, looks like that. And here we go. All right, so of course we're going to be using our 11-inch paper, okay? We're going to score going again from the left to the right, all right? And the first score we're going to do is going to be a 1/2 inch, and that's going to be where it's going to join with the back of the card. So we're going to do that first. My arthritis is bad today. So we're going to do a 1/2 inch, okay? And then we're going to do 2 1/4. And then 3 1/2. This is going to be our little side. And then we're going to do 7 1/2. Eight 3/4. Let's see, 8 3/4 should be right there. Good gravy. This, by the way, was not hard the last time I did it. Okay, so that's all we're going to be doing. So side, side, front, back, little lever, little thing that we're going to attach it with. So same thing we're going to do here. We're going to come and cut these corners off. You don't really have to, though. Well, I would, because that way there's not going to be any funky overhang anywhere. Okay, just like that. See if I can show it to you. Oh, that's not bad, right? So here's our little flap that's going to attach to this end. Here's our 2 sides. Here's our front, and then these 2 pieces are our back. So let's go ahead and get it scored. I can't help but to think I'm scoring away from the grain. I'm doing something wrong here today. Okay, we're going to score there. We're going to score here. By the way, for this project, I'm using 110-pound Recollections cardstock. It was on sale recently for super cheap at Michael's, and you guys know I like using this, especially for boxes and things of that nature. If I'm doing projects for a company or for the cards that I sell, I like to use the Nina. But for everyday use, I use the Recollections, and I love it. So the 110-pound, I don't like the other Recollections at all. And don't recommend it with the Brothers Scan and Cut. So keep that in mind. All right, so here's our little box, and this little tab right there is where you're going to tape that together, right there. And there's our little box, just like that. And when you close it, a 2-size card right there. All right, so again, this is a little area where you're going to want to decide before you glue it down, what do you want in the middle, right? What do you want in the middle of this card? For this one, I used an oval, but you could very easily put a huge circle on this one, which is one of the reasons why I chose this particular, I wanted to do one like this, because look at that. That would give you a great background scene, right? Really pretty. So I think we're going to use that one for that one. And what I do with those other dies, oh, I don't want to do, maybe we could do something. Okay, I already did an oval for you guys, but I didn't do an oval this way. So let's do an oval that way. All right, let's get out that machine real quick, and we'll go ahead and die cut these out, and then I'll show you how to put it together. Super easy, right guys? That's what I wanted you to take from this. I wanted you to see that this is really very easy to do. You're using one sheet of paper, using a half a sheet of paper per box, but you're just using the one sheet of paper. And it works perfect. It works absolutely perfect. You guys love it when I bring the big shot into the frame here. I don't understand it, but you guys love it. Okay, so we're going to go, I'm using a magnetic little thing here, but this cardstock is popping up. And again, you could go lower if you wanted your scene to be lower, but I'm just going to go ahead and center it the best that my eyeballs will. Move my coffee out of the way, because I know you girls could see that happening, right? Go, baby, go. Go, baby, go. I don't have my plate even. All right, better. Okay. All right, so there we go. We've got our little opening. We'll rescore it down, and look at that. Right? So there's our little opening for that one. Let's go ahead and do this one. I have to say that I like both of these equally. I'm not gonna lie, I like both of them equally, but I kind of dig this kind of squarer one. I don't know why, but I just think it's so elegant. So we're using a pretty big circle here. And I'm not using any stitching dies on this. I can't see if that looks good. Okay. All right, there's our two dies. Okay, so now on this one, we're going to be taping. Remember, this is the one that I have taping in the back, but I will try to put the measurements down. So this one's going to be taping just like that. Hold on. Just like that. You lose a little bit of your stiffness of your card when you put a big circle in it like that, but when you get your little pieces here, it'll be fine. So again, once you glue it down, it's going to close just fine. Let me set it down. So your glue is going to be right there. When you close it up, it's going to be just fine for your card, right? And then when you open it up, there you go. Okay. All right, so now let's get to work on, or let's go ahead and get it glued or taped. I think I'm going to use tape for it. Show you how to tape it up. Let me grab the tape machine. You could use glue. I'd use my art glitter glue for this as well, but I figured for speed, accuracy, we would do it this way. Oh guys, I'm sitting on my, I just sat down on the Martha Stewart scoreboard. Yep, that just happened. All right, let's do this. Let me have a scrap piece of paper. Oh, let's use this. I don't like to tape on my mat because it always. All right, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bead of tape right there. And whatever hangs over, I'm going to fold back on itself. Just like that. I'm going to lay this down and I'm going to bring this to it. Just like that. And then whatever tape is left, I'm just going to rub it off right now. Before it gets any trouble, we're just going to rub it off. Okay, and there's that one. Just that easy. Okay, this one I'm going to do the same thing. Going to go back and figure out where I want it to be right there. So we're going to go ahead and put our tape right here. Now by cutting the little corners, what it does is it just allows you to have a seamless looking space on your card, right? So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to fold it over. We're going to line it up and put it down. All right, so that's how it's going to look closed. That's how it's going to look opened. I got a little piece of glue right there, little stickies. All right, and that's how it's going to look. So there's your 2 boxes. Super easy, right, guys? Super, super easy. All right, so for this box right here, I'm going to give you the all the information below for the scoring, the layering panels, right? But if you wanted to do layering panels, I'm going to have it below. 4x3 for this section right here, or the back. Right, 4x3, because it's this, yeah, 4x3. For this is going to be 4x1 7/8. So again, you're going to have to do the 7/8. And that's the same for the inside or the outside, right? So that's what your layering pieces would be. I'm not going to do the layering pieces today because I just don't think that I need to do that. I think you guys got that. Okay, so now for our inside panels. I know that doll keeps going off, guys. I'm sorry. For our little hills and slopes, right? These little things that are going right here. Let's start with this box right here. So the slopes and hills, the little things that you're going to pop in, are little elements that you're going to be popping in. They are 4 inches. This one right here. They are 4 inches long, and we're going to score them at 3/8 of an inch on each side. So let's do that one first. This one is this one. I don't know why my scoreboard's. I'm getting brought out the little scoreboard for this one. Okay, so it's 4 inches long, right? See, it's 4 inches, and you could make it 4.5 and make your little seams bigger if you wanted to. The seams meaning the pieces that you tape. I just prefer to have them smaller. That's just my preference. You can do whatever you want. So you could go 4.5 and go with a 3/4 of an inch border, or some people do a 1/2 inch border. I like a smaller little border in there, and especially for this one. This one I did bigger on the other one, but I'm going to take it down. So again, you're going to do 3/8. Is that an accurate measurement? Let's just make sure, because I got to make sure. 1, 2, 3, yeah. So it's 3/8. 3/8 on each side. So 1, 2, 3. And then I'm just going to turn it around. I'm going to flip it over actually, because it's easier. And I'm going to do 3/8. So 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to go ahead and do the third one for that one as well, and then we'll go ahead and stick it in the box so I can show you. Okay, let's get them scored. See, I think that's more than enough room. But if you want it bigger, you can make it bigger. Just make your starting point bigger, right? That's all you have to do. Okay, so again, this is for this box, right? And I will have all the measurements together below. All right, so now you've got it scored. All you've got to do is pop it in, tape it wherever you would want it. And that's what it would look like. Right? Super cute. Let me pull this one out so you can see. See? Just like that. You could stagger them a little higher if you wanted, right? If you wanted that to go a little higher. It just depends on what you're looking for. Right? And then for this one, I would do 3. I'm going to put 3 in this one. I'll put that one in the back. And it's going to look like that. Super cute. So that's the measurements for that one. And then this one, I only cut out 2 of these, but this piece is 4.5 inches long. So 4.5 inches long, a little bit longer than our box. And again, I'm going to go with a super small little detail here. 1, I don't have a lot of room here, and 2, I don't want the bulkiness. The more that you have in the card, the bulkier the card's going to be. That's my theory. So for this one, I'm just going to do 2/8. I'm just going to do a tiny little, and I'm saying 2/8 so you guys get used to counting 1, 2 over. And again, if you wanted it to be bigger, all you would have to do is adjust your 4 1/4. You could go out 4 1/2, right? The grandbabies and mommy are here, guys. I hear them in the background. So, all right, and then you're just going to put it in, just like that. And our other one, just like that. And that's what it's going to look like. Super cute, right? All right, now I haven't taped it down yet. I haven't taped it down yet because I want to see where I'm going with it. But let me just show you. So it's there, and it folds right over just like that. Let's see if I can get it to go the other way. It'll look better once it's actually taped down, right? So super cute. As you can see, these are. So I think it's a super cute little idea. Like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I was super nervous to bring it to you. I will have all the measurements below, all typed out per box, so you can have their actual measurements per box below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it gives you some creative mojo to go in and make a shadow box with what you already have, right? And even if you don't already have like these dies, the stitching, these these dies, you don't need it. Cut with a pair of scissors. Just cut out something and make it to match those measurements widthwise, and you'll be fine. And like I said, the widthwise is up to you. However wide you want it, that's completely up to you. And if you don't have these particular dies, if you don't have any of these dies yet, take a crafting knife and a circle, right? And just cut it out with the circle with your crafting knife. Or take a rectangle or square or something, right? Be creative. You don't need all this fancy stuff and all these super high priced dies to make a project. And I've always felt that way. Is it nice to have them? Sure it is. Have I purchased them before? Sure I have. But you don't need them. It's super easy, and I really like this method because you're just using that one sheet of paper. 1/2 of a sheet of paper, and you can make a shadow box die, a shadow box card. All right, so if I have helped you at all, please leave me a comment below. I will have all the measurements below as well, and if you have any constructive criticism, don't forget to give that to me as well, because I learned from you guys. All right, I love you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.